Welcome back to Amy Lynn Creative. In this video, it's going to be a little different. You're not going to see my face. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at a side-by-side comparison of two different website builders, Showit and Squarespace. Now, these are two very different platforms, so I really want to show you the behind the scenes of what they look like and what it looks like to build a website in each of those. What you're seeing here is a mock-up of a website. I mocked this up in Adobe Illustrator just to give me an idea of where I was going with this project. So this is a fictitious company. All of these images, none of them are taken by me. These are from unsplash.com. They're a free stock image website that can be really great if you don't have your own images. Obviously, if I were running an interior design firm, I would not use these images in my portfolio because that would be lying. But because this is just an example, I'm using images from Unsplash. So here's the website. Obviously, it's just an Illustrator, so you can't click on anything. This is what we're going to be building in Showit and Squarespace, and I want to show you how to do that. This is the Squarespace panel. You can see a website is already started here. This is one of their templates. Obviously, it looks nothing like what we are trying to accomplish, but we're going to delete most of the stuff out of it or modify it. So we're starting with this template, and with Showit, we are starting with this template here called Simple. Obviously, it's not a wedding photography company, so we'll be deleting a lot of this out. One of the first things I want to show you in Showit is that you're going to notice, you're going to see both a mobile phone and a full page website on here. This is one of the key differences between Showit and Squarespace is that and I'm clicking these little options down here to show you, you can build a completely custom mobile site that looks nothing like your desktop site if you really want to. Now, obviously, your branding should be similar, but what's great about Showit is that you can create a whole new layout, whereas Squarespace kind of creates one for you, and it's not always the best layout. So that's one of my favorite things about Showit. Full disclosure, I personally use Showit. It is what I use for my website. However, I have built Squarespace websites for my clients, and they love the simplicity of it. So there's pros and cons to each. I'll discuss some of those as we design here. So I'm going to go up here to design settings, and here's where I can set my colors in advance. So I already have a black in here. I'm going to leave that alone. That color 4, we need to switch out. Okay, so I'm going to click on one of these squares, and I'm going to find the hex color, which is this number that looks like it has a hashtag next to it. And we're going to come over here. We're going to paste that, and it switches to my green. This one, I'm not going to change that one. Sometimes it's kind of a guessing game to figure out which one I should replace with what. Okay, so we have our colors. Now we're going to go to text styles and change our fonts. And these are going to be universal across the site. So it's already going to start looking like a whole new site once I do this. All right, so as you can see, I have adjusted some of the design settings in here. This is in Showit. And you've noticed that I can actually change both the desktop and the mobile settings separately. Not that anyone would do that, but there it is. So I'm about to save this. Go back to my site, and you can see the fonts have already changed to be similar. Obviously, everything else needs to change. Let's go over to Squarespace and change the fonts there. All right, so here's the interface. There's 2 tabs you need to worry about right now, Pages and Design. We're going to go to Design, Fonts. Again, these are fonts across the whole project. And I'm going to change this. I'm not going to use one of these. They have packs of fonts you can use. I'm being more picky. I'm going with one font for the whole project in various forms just to keep things simple. For the headings, we want Montserrat, which is the same one that we used for the Showit site to make them look as similar as possible. And you notice they do not give you an option to do that extra thin, which is what we wanted. Showit has a lot more options. You can use anything in the Google Fonts library, whereas this one is a little bit more limited. So I can make this even skinnier now. There we go. That's about as close as we're going to get. All right, so you can see we've changed all our fonts and it's changed across the whole website. We're just doing a one-page website today, and I will also show you the blog setup as well. All right, so now that we have our fonts, I want to show you the media library in Showit. Squarespace does not have a media library. However, Showit allows you to pre-upload your elements. So I have my logos, my design things here. Photos, that's what they are, photos, whereas we'll have to upload them individually in Squarespace. So let's get started with this page. So you can see these tabs. I have site, and then if I click page, it gives me the options for this. So Showit operates off canvases. I believe Squarespace calls them blocks. I could be wrong. We'll go back to that. But anyway, this is a header canvas. It's a site canvas that goes across your whole website. And it's totally customizable. So I am going to, you can see in our example website, it's a little bit wider. We're going to delete this. These are going to be on a different, you know what? These are going to be on the same canvas. Never mind. So this is a completely drag and drop website builder. I can go over here and change the color. It functions very similar to Adobe software. And then over here, you can see that, oh no, my words are gone. So I'm going to drag this rectangle below the words, and they're in black, but you can kind of see them. We need to add our logo. So I'm going to come down here to my media library, add this logo, give it a second to load. And that's too big. So we'll make it a little smaller. Let's go ahead and change the header in Squarespace. So I'm going to go up here to click the edit button and expand out this web page. Edit site header. And the first thing we want to do is upload the logo. Obviously, we don't want it to look like that. So we are going to make some adjustments. Now I could have uploaded a PNG, but I want the background to be white anyway, so we're going with a JPEG. There we go. We are changing this to white, and then we need to change the layout. Okay, so I have my logo over here on the left. I switched to a different page for you so that it's totally blank. I added a new page. So I'm going to go up here, and I had it on the global settings before, but if I go to desktop and I click that, I can change the layout. So let's change the layout to this one down here which is going to give us the look we were going for. You can see I don't have the green bar under here, and that is because Squarespace is not going to give me that functionality. All right, now we're going to go back to our Squarespace site and change the hero image to the image on my inspiration, and we're going to scooch this up because I don't want it to be humongous. All right, so the next section is this one right here. So we need to change the canvas background. So clicking here, going over here, there's my color. I'm just copying the text over. And I want that to be a little larger, so I'm going to change the text size. And let's see, there's a little thing here. And I can align this to the canvas. There we go, not centered. This one we're not centering. All right, now you will notice over here there is a little graphic. We're not going to be able to add that in Squarespace, but I'm going to add this graphic in Showit by going to my media library, clicking this sweater texture. And adding it to my page right here. I want to make sure that's underneath my text so it's not covering it up. Let's go back to Squarespace. We're going to add a section. Again, we're going to add a blank section. We're going to change the background of the section. I've got to change the colors, but I will do that in a bit. Here's our text. I want to make this a little narrower. So I'm going to go over here and edit and make the section, whoops. We want that medium, we want the content width. There we go. All right, and then we want to add a little something up here. So we're going to click this plus button, add some text. All right, now we're on to our next section, which is this grouping of images. This will be fun. All right. We're going to go over to Showit. First of all, I'm just going to delete this canvas. All right, so I'm going to add a new canvas. And we're going to put it right under there. So now I have my new canvas and I am going to put some images on here. So I need to make this really big, dragging this down, and I'm going to start adding my images. You can overlap sections with Showit, Squarespace not so much. Now, if you know code, there's a lot more you can do in Squarespace with custom things. However, we are looking only at a non-coding use case here. So that is why I'm not entertaining that as a possibility. All right, let's attempt to create something similar to this in Squarespace. So we're going to go ahead and add a section, and we're going to come over here and look at the image options. And we'll start with this and see how we do. These spacers can be adjusted somewhat. Obviously not very much. Okay, I've added these images and now we're at a little bit of a troublesome portion. If we look at our original here, I need this text block with a color behind it, and you actually can't do that in Squarespace that I know of. So I'm going to kind of cheat the system a little bit. Click this plus here, add an image, and then what I'm going to do is I created a graphic, or I created a JPEG that is that color, and I'm going to use that to create my block. I'm not going to display a caption, and I'm going to do a poster. We're going to ignore the title, and then for the subtitle, we'll copy and paste our text. For some reason, it pasted very oddly. So I'm going to fix that. So that's one way you can kind of get around. You can't just add a rectangle with a color, but you can do this. And there we go. And then there's another bit of text here, and instead of making a whole new text box, since that's actually a button anyway, I'm going to add a button. right, I've made some adjustments. We're not going to be able to do the staggered widths that I wanted to do, but this is going to be close enough for now. You'll notice here that this cable knit detail I didn't have before, and what I actually did, because you can't just add that as a graphic, I created this whole background as a graphic. So and I did this off video, but you can see here I added an image that had the graphic on the right hand side, and there we have it. There we go. All right, so it looks very similar to my Showit version here. What's different in Showit is that these are just really easy to move around. I can make this rectangle without making it in Illustrator first. This button, I have to, so in Squarespace, this button is all edited right here, and you can add your information. In Showit here, I'm going to click on this, go over here to click actions, add page, and then I can link it to whatever page I want. And for good measure, I actually usually click the button as well and change that. So that's that button, and we are on to the portfolio section.
Back in Squarespace, let's do the same thing.
Okay, so you can see this isn't really working out for me. So it's actually going to be easier to just go here and add this section right here. I'm going to change this to portfolio. And then we're going to delete one of these sections so that it's too wide. And there we have it. I added spacers on the sides, and then for these I just drew an area. And I totally forgot this section right here, so let's just add that quickly. We'll copy that, add our section right here. And then we can do that over here. Now over here, to add a section, we're going to add a new, oops, I apologize, that is a blank canvas that we are adding. And then we finally are nearing the end of our web page here. This is the team, or contact our team section. So let's add a contact section. Now, this contact form is a bit complicated and it was already in the template, so I just want to draw your attention to that. Notice that there are two boxes. Oops, I need to delete that. There are two boxes. There's this line here and then there's this white box. This is a rectangle, and in the text properties over here, we had to click enable input. Message is the label, and that is going to enable the contact form. You can also embed a contact form from your CRM on either of these platforms. Just know that you have to have two layers here, as it were. So doing and then this will go to your email, but doing a contact form in Showit is a little bit more complicated unless you're copy pasting from your CRM. All right, so there's the contact form in Showit. Again, a little bit more difficult.
Okay, let's go back to Squarespace.
We're going to do that. We're going to add a contact form. Now, this is a little bit more user-friendly. We can edit these fields and it'll automatically add them in. However, it is going to look a little different. Gives you all kinds of different settings here, some advanced things, and there you have it. Okay, one thing I wanted to show you really quick before I show you the big reveal of the two websites, I wanted to show you the mobile version. So in Squarespace, the mobile version is created automatically. You can't really do anything with it. In Showit, you can create basically a totally different website if you really wanted to for the mobile version. Now, the downside to this is what it looks like right now, and this is why I'm showing it to you. It's kind of a hodgepodge. Basically, it just puts generic things in here and there. Yeah, it's kind of a hot mess. But as soon as I adjust some things, it's going to be fantastic. So I am going to do those adjustments, and then I will show you both the mobile and the desktop versions of these websites. Okay, now it's time to compare the two websites that we built. Here is the Illustrator version that I just mocked up really quick before I created these websites. All right, and let's take a look at Squarespace. All right, this is looking pretty good. All right, not too shabby. Obviously still some changes to be made, but let's look at the mobile version. Here's where it gets a little interesting. So here we have our menu. We have our photo at the top. That looks good. The About Me section gets really awkward, and that's because that section was really, really not designed for, I did not design that for mobile. And this section right here gets cut off because Squarespace just kind of chooses what order it wants to do things in. And then this looks fine. And the contact form looks fine. So yeah, the mobile version is a little goofy. So let's look at Showit quick. I wanted to show you this intentionally. See how this green bar doesn't extend all the way to the left and right? We can fix that, but one thing about Squarespace is that you're not normally going to have these little formatting issues because Squarespace doesn't let you make those mistakes. Whereas Showit, it's kind of a free-for-all, and you can make mistakes like this you can't see them in the editing view, but when you post them, when you publish to the website, it's going to show up. So let's go ahead and fix that by going into our website here. See, it doesn't show here, but as soon as you make it wider, this band does not expand. So I have to come over here to horizontal locking and click this button right here. And when I go back to preview, the green has automatically expanded. So that is the way it is supposed to look. We will start scrolling. This section looks really nice. Everything looks good. Website looks great. All right. let's look at the mobile version. This is very, very interesting. I actually created a separate mobile version, because you can do that in Showit. Let's preview that and look at that mobile view. Look at the About Me section. I specifically went back and redesigned the About Me section in the mobile version of Showit. I even changed out this image. This image is actually different. I switched out this image here because it just wasn't working in the mobile version. So I was able to switch that out, and you can do that. But I turned that image off in the desktop version. I'll show you that in a minute. And I also switched this up a little bit for some clarity. I added this little line here. That line does not show up on the desktop version. Whoops. Okay. So what I want to show you here, what I'm talking about with the mobile version, here's the editing of the mobile version. You can see I rearranged these things, but when I rearranged them, it changed nothing on the desktop version. So there are pros and cons to this, of course. With Squarespace, you just have one thing to worry about. With Showit, you have two things to worry about, because if you change one thing in the mobile version, it's not going to show up on the desktop version. Where this comes in handy is that this obviously doesn't work well for mobile. It's too wide. So being able to create a separate version is a really big deal. You can see this image over here in the canvas. I just can toggle on and off the view. So those images are still on the other version. This is important because more than ever, people are looking at their phones when they're viewing websites. So your web version really does matter. Now with Squarespace, if you follow one of their templates, you're less likely to have the mobile version look terrible. But if you're trying to do something super custom, you're going to run into issues with the mobile version. So I just wanted to share that as a comparison. Both of these are great website builders. They just have different ideal audiences. And so you just have to decide which audience you're in and which one is going to be the best option for you. I hope this video was helpful in helping you either choose a website builder or choose a website designer. And I look forward to seeing you in another video. Thanks for watching.